Welcome into WagerTalk TV. I am Drew Martin, joined by Rob Vino and Tony Finn of WagerTalk.com. We're talking a good one in the Big Ten, Wisconsin and Ohio State. Tony, coming to you first. We're seeing 57 as the total. Buckeyes minus 18-point favorites in the horseshoe. You interested in getting involved in Columbus, Ohio, Saturday night?
I wish I could, and I still might again. It's kind of early in the week here when we're taping this, but I would say this, game on in the Big Ten, right, guys? Most of the non-con slate complete for the conference. The Buckeyes have been up to snuff to date, let's say. Furthermore, they've lived up to my belief of what this team was going to be offensively. Defensively, they haven't been the squad I thought they would be in creating some opportunities more for the offense. And some of that showed up last week. And to the benefit of anybody who is backing or wants to support these Buckeyes, I think the closely contested event last week against Notre Dame was a benefit, if I'm not mistaken. Not Notre Dame, I'm sorry. Toledo. And 77-21 is not necessarily closely contested, but some of the closely contested, the 21-10 Notre Dame, the 45 or 46, something like that, 12 with Arkansas State. I wanted to see more defense. And but the defense of the defense, the troops playing under a new scheme, the 3 games in the 2022 campaign, and it's likely just me, as it really is. But if I'm in Jim Knowles' shoes, I probably wouldn't be completely satisfied. Run heavy, Wisconsin team, right? Come to Columbus for primetime tilt as the Buckeyes will be wearing the blackout alternate uniform. I don't know how much you guys put on that, but can this Ohio State potent offense, right, move the ball consistently and systematically against which is a pretty good Badgers defense? Wisconsin, they're running on a new and improved defensive front, should say. We'll talk about this game. I know we'll talk about this game 100 times before Saturday, and I bet we talk about it 100 times after Saturday. But the number in this game would lead me only one way. I'm either going to be on Ohio State or I'm not going to be in this room. And the number, I think, is a fair number, a favorable number. And what Wisconsin, listen, the blueprint for this team is pretty simple. They've got to stop the run. Graham Mertz, they have to stop the run. If they can't stop the Ohio State run, then this game can really get out of hand fast. And the more I talk about it, the more I like Ohio State. Give me Ohio State minus the points.
Okay, Ohio State minus the points for Tony. Rob, using Tony's words, are you in this room, Wisconsin and Ohio State?
Mm-hmm. I think I could be, Drew, but I'd probably be more attracted to the total here. We see it bumped up to 57 now. Don't quite understand why we're going up, except for the 77-point outburst last week out of Ohio State. And sometimes, we talked about overreactions last week from week 1 to week 2. And you can obviously get overreactions to what happens from any week to any week. They did score 77 last week. And look pretty good doing it against Toledo. But I'm going to say this, Jim Leonhard is a really smart defensive coordinator. And if the first thing that comes to my mind is just go back and watch the tape and copy Notre Dame's game plan, then I'm sure Jim Leonhard thought of that too. Notre Dame came out in a game where they were getting 17, just like Wisconsin. In fact, money flowing in on Ohio State, right? Somewhat. It's not really flowing in as heavy as it did for that game, but money towards Ohio State here in anticipation of the offense just bombarding the defense. And what happened? Notre Dame was in that game the entire way. We'll go through some numbers there real quick, but Marcus Freeman did sort of build that umbrella and tell Ohio State, you're not going over the top of us. You're going to have to earn everything down the field. And it took them nearly 4 quarters to figure out how to do that. And even when they did figure it out, the final score was 21-10. So that can be repeated here, guys, I feel, with Wisconsin. Notre Dame limited Ohio State to just 10 possessions in that game. Some of that's a product of the way they played offense. Some of that's a product of the way they played defense. But 10 possessions, it's hard to cover 17 points with only 10, especially when you're a team like Ohio State that's used to scoring quickly. 6 of the first 7 drives Ohio State had that night resulted in 5 punts and a missed 38-yard field goal. So it's certainly anybody who watched it knows they were frustrated by it. In the end, they got a couple of huge long touchdown drives, like I say, to cover. The last time they played, because they haven't played in a couple of years here. Remember, one's West, one's East. They don't always cross paths unless they meet in a Big Ten championship game. Last time they met, they did so in a Big Ten championship game, 2019, 34-21, Ohio State. You can't tell me that these teams are any different than they were in 2019. Same narrative, same style, same everything here. Ohio State, great offense. Wisconsin, great defense with a running game. The Wisconsin offense, kind of pedestrian for sure. Paul Christ, again, I talk about these prehistoric offensive minds almost every week. He's one of them for sure. Just my luck, we got two of them today because we talked about Jimbo Fisher earlier. But Ohio State's going to have a simple game plan. Stack that box, try and stop Braylon Allen, and see if Graham Mertz can beat him. I'm not sure that, he can beat him consistently. He's going to have to do it once or twice to get some points on the board here. Ohio State has been pretty good defensively so far. How about this? No opponent has gotten more than 15 first downs against them. No opponent's gotten better than 59.5% completions or 31% third down conversions. So they've been pretty good on the defensive side. This should be an interesting game. Wisconsin wants it to be field position. And again, the simple stuff you don't think of, guys, like the punt game, Wisconsin's averaging 47 yards a punt. So to keep pinning Ohio State back in their own territory would be nice. Trenches are strong on each side. I'll say this. The reason why I like under a little bit is I went back and looked at Wisconsin's Big Ten contests. The last 16 times that they've played inside the conference, 14 of those have totaled 56 or less. This game sits at 57 right now. I could see it happening again. Ohio State probably has to make 38 to send this thing over, and I don't know that they will. So right now, Drew, I'm looking under 57 in that game.
Robbie Vino. Check him out, WagerTalk.com, as well as Tony Finn. Guys, enjoy the game. Ohio State, Wisconsin. Also, make sure to check out the website. Tuesday is a great day to do so. $2 Tuesdays. Top handicappers, top play, discounted to just $2. Check it out, WagerTalk.com.